Guys, I know there's Christmas stuff all in this house. All my fall decor has been packed up. And even though it is still fall, it feels like winter and I'm slowly getting in the Christmas spirit. But I could not get into it completely without doing a video that I've been trying to do for a little over a week now. In my defense, I did get sick for like 2 weeks since Halloween. And we are pretty much mid-November, but I just got over being sick, which is great. Awesome. We love that. So I wanted to go ahead and get this video out because there are some books in this I really have been wanting to discuss. I need to get them off my chest because some were so good and some were so bad. And since I made a fall TBR video, why not just go ahead and wrap it up with all the books I read in fall, because we already started. We might as well finish. So here we are. Welcome back. I want to start off with the books that I'm currently reading. One is like 100% fall. It's not like the cozy leaves and stuff, but if you read it or if you have read it, like, you know that this is 100% a book to read in fall. And then the other one isn't necessarily fall, it just feels more fall, if that makes sense. I actually think it might be set in summer. I don't even know. No, because there's snow in one place. My physical one I'm currently in the middle of for a while is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I don't know how I feel about this, honestly, because it took me 40% to get into it. I was just kind of trudging along. Like, I didn't really care. I think my main problem, nothing against the book itself or the author or anything, is that, as most people know, this started out as a fan fiction, and the world, like, she had to kind of change it from the Harry Potter universe and kind of make it her own. And I think my problem is I didn't read the fan fiction first, so like I'm kind of confused on everything, but now I'm like catching up and I'm enjoying it more. So I think if you go into this without reading the fan fiction, it might just be a little confusing. But it's not bad whatsoever. It was just that 40% dragging. On top of that, I have been so freaking busy. The end of the year is insane every year. It just kind of put me off on reading, so I think that kind of had a hand in this. But besides that, I am loving it now. Osric is so freaking funny. The banter in here is just perfect. It's everything I wanted when I read Enemies to Lovers. So I'm currently in the middle of this one. I think I'm like 65% through right now. I only got this much left of it. Hopefully I'll get it done soon, because I have been holding off my Quicksilver reread until I finish this, because even though I can read a physical ebook and an audiobook all at once, I can't do two of the same at once. I don't know why, I just can't. It did take me a while just to be able to get to reading more than one book at a time, so maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just something with my brain. But I did go ahead and restart my Quicksilver reread anyway, because Brimstone comes out next week, and I'm surprised you don't see the foam coming out of my mouth right now, because that's how excited I am. And the other one I'm currently listening to, while I'm in the middle of listening to, Spotify, of course, you know, with their 15 hours of me listening at a faster speed, I still somehow run out of hours in an 8-hour book. I'm listening to Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have wanted to get this book for so long, since like Steph Bohr was raving about it years ago. And I've also heard that the show is one of the most accurate book to TV adaptations out there. So I'm waiting to finish it so I can start the show. I'm so excited. Something about listening to audiobooks that are not set in America or they just have accents, I love it so much. The narrator is doing so good. Like, I understand, but sometimes I have to listen a little bit because it's just a thick accent. But those are my two current reads. So now we can start with all the books I have read. So some of these are not actually like fall books. Some of these are not even set in the fall. But I was just either reading them into the fall, or I just randomly like picked them up and was like, that sounds interesting. So really, this is like a September to kind of November reading wrap up, but it's fall. I got a lot of books off my fall TBR. I am so proud of myself. There were a few I missed and I will get to next year, but winter kind of snuck up on us. Like, it was literally snowing the other day in November in Tennessee. It was snowing. Like, it felt like an actual winter storm. Walking out in Walmart the other day, the wind was like blowing, so the snow was like hitting us and it was freezing. First, we have Legends and Lattes. I wouldn't say I love this book. I gave it a 3.5. But it was so cozy. I love Thimble. Where's he at? Where's Thimble? He's right here. Can you see him? Can you see that little mouse? The little chef, baker, whatever. I love him so much. This book got me out of my slump from Kingdom of Bash that absolutely gutted me. If you guys watched my 12-hour reading vlog, you know that it wrecked me. And this was so easy to read. It's not like high risk fantasy. Like if you're just getting into fantasy or you just want like a taste of it, this is perfect for you. It's just like mythical little creatures living their lives. We have Viv, she's opening her own coffee shop. And this is not typical for a orc because they are known for like, you know, violence and killing and just little mean things. But she's like, no, I'm done with that. I want a slow paced life. Me getting into my like late 20s. Throughout the book, you're getting introduced to all these little pastries, like cinnamon rolls, bread, coffee, tea, iced coffee for just a quick, easy fall read. It's great. And then we had Rewind It Back by Liz Tom Ford. I don't know how I feel about this one. I gave it 3.75, and let me just tell you, I was pretty excited for it, but where it went wrong for me, I am not a second chance romance girl, like pretty much at all. It just depends on it. Like there might be one I love, but I can't remember the last time I read that. Like besides me just not being into that trope really at all, I think it was pretty good. I do feel like Rio came on a little too strong. Just a little bit. Like I feel like he was kind of trying to rush what was happening with Hallie with getting her back, but like at the same time he was like, fuck you, no. And I'm pretty sure she did point that out, like one minute you want me and next minute you're like back to hating me. And that really bothered me because my man needed a little bit of therapy there. And I also didn't like how when it was revealed what went wrong, all he had to do eventually was talk to her. I understand why he was so mad. I get it. But like, as for the situation, it was not Hallie's fault. And she was literally like, what, 17, 18, vulnerable teenager. Like, that's terrifying. Like, he didn't stop to consider how she felt in this situation. And this also took place in winter. So it wasn't really a fall read. A big part of the book took place in winter on Hallie's birthday through the years. So yeah, if you're wanting to read this, I would suggest the winter time. Here's one that I absolutely despised, and I gave it 2.75 because it made me laugh a few times. I feel like you would like this if you didn't go through your Wattpad phase and you need a poorly written, poorly executed, terrible character kind of book. Please do not attack me. It was so bad. It was so bad. I wish I didn't. There's something about books that I take pictures with before I'm like even halfway through them. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to read this. And I take such cute pictures with it and then I end up hating them. This is one of those. This book was so freaking bad. I thought the bully romance would be like not trying to kill the twins. They were literally trying to kill them. And all for like a throne that they kept saying they didn't want. And even though, yes, they pretty much are entitled to it, regardless of them saying we don't want this throne, and everybody's like, yeah, you do, you're gonna get it. They were so mean. And like Geraldine, why did they make her character like that? Why did y'all have to do Geraldine like that? I feel like she could have been so cool if she was not so strange. And nothing really made sense either. Like, I cringed so much. Not even just from the writing. But Seth, he's the werewolf. Him, like, with the nuzzling and the constant touching. This just goes to show that I'm not a dog person, even though there are 3 dogs in this house. Like, I couldn't be a werewolf or be with a werewolf because I am just not a dog person. And I know people said to, like, keep reading, it gets better. And listen, I've been proven wrong so many times when I've kept reading books. Windy City series that we just talked about. Kept reading that and I ended up loving it. The Right Move, one of my favorite books of the year, but I can't stand behind this book and I don't want to. I do think it might be a good fall read for you if you want. It has all the fantasy creatures and things like that. It was not worth it. I'm so sorry. I also mentioned, I know I said the writing, but can we talk about the word bae? Can we talk about the word bae? Even when the word bae was like huge, I hated it. My bae, that's bae. You sound stupid. You sound so stupid. I don't care. And to hear these people say it was just agonizing. It was agonizing pain that I couldn't get through. Also, funny story about this book is my best friend's friend. She doesn't read fantasy at all, which is insane to me. And apparently she started out with this book for her intro to fantasy. Please don't do that, because you're never going to want to read fantasy again. You're just going to give up. I would have given up if I didn't read fantasy. I was like, oh, I want to start with this one. I would stick to lit fit. I would stick to women's literature. I would never touch fantasy again. I would probably pick up more thrillers if I read this first. And then we have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. This book was so cute. I gave it 4 stars. I love our little cat, our little ghost cat. What people need to understand when they're reading books like this, as just mostly based on aesthetic for the seasonal aesthetic books, is what I'm trying to say. They're not going to be good. There's no depth to them. They're literally nothing special. Okay, that sounds bad. They are special because I really like this, but they're not deep. It's literally just set in this season, whatever season it's written for. Most of the time, like, it doesn't go throughout the year. You don't have time to see these characters well, to get to know them, to get to know everything. And there might be some character development, there might not. There was some in this, thank the Lord, because our main man, what was his name, Logan, he was driving me a little bit insane there for a while. But by the end, he went to therapy, as most men should. And a lot of people complain about that. Like, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't deep. It was okay. It was okay. It screamed fall. Our main character, Jeannie, she moves to this town in fall. She literally takes over a pumpkin spice cafe. How is it not fall? They're having fall festivals. They're having, like, the weather change. She's on a farm that is setting up a pumpkin patch, well, Logan's farm, that sets up fall activities. It's perfect for the season. I was going to read the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore next, but here's what happened. So first, I seen people saying, like, oh, this is more of a summer book, save it for summer. And then one girl I talked to was like, no, people are being dramatic. It's set at the end of, I think, August, and it, like, kind of goes into fall, which would have been okay for when I read this because it was still hot as all get out outside. But I waited too long because I wanted the actual physical copy to match this one. So by the time I could have read it, it was too cold. It wasn't warm enough outside, because that does matter to me greatly. So I am saving the next one for next year, which kind of sucks because the Christmas Tree Farm I could be getting to this year. But, like, I don't want to go out of order, even though it is an interconnected standalone. These cats are driving me insane. Even though it is an interconnected standalone, I don't want anything spoiled from the book before. So, highly recommend this one. And it's just so pretty. Look at it. Look at it. I love it. And then I listened to Caught Up by Navessa Allen. Y'all, I am in the minority again, and I liked it more than Lights Out. I gave it 5 stars. I gave Lights Out like 4.75 stars. And I don't know why. The narrators for Lights Out and the narrators for Caught Up were both, like, so good. I don't think Caught Up was as funny, but I do think what, like, made me like it more is it was just, like, a typical, more on the mobster side of things, like mafia or whatever, and Caught Up wasn't. Caught Up was just, like, normal stalker. It might also be because when I was listening to this book, I was listening to it with Topher in the car, and I claimed it as our book, like we were listening to it, which he will deny with his whole chest, but he was listening to it. His reaction, I think that's what made me like it more, is sitting in the car and seeing and hearing his reactions to all this, because when I started playing it for him, or well, for me, when I started playing it the first day in the car, it was when they were in the sex club. And so this whole time he's like, whoa, like he's literally like, what the actual hell are you listening to? Do you want to do this? No, I don't want to go to a sex club. I really don't. I think that's what really made me enjoy this book more, was the experience of listening to it with somebody else who, like, does not listen to this kind of stuff or read this kind of stuff. And then if you guys watched my reading vlog that I just uploaded a little bit ago, I read The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I gave this 5 stars. I still need to get to book number 2, but there's so many books I gotta get to. I love it so much. It was so freaking good. I regret having this on my shelf for so long and not reading it, but I feel like it wasn't the right time ever, and now was the right time. We're following Cassie. She is enrolled in this program for teens with like special abilities who are kind of helping the FBI to solve cold cases, and then she starts getting targeted by the stalker, and she's like, F this, I'm solving this case right now, because they won't let them own live cases because they're kids, right? We got a little bit of a love triangle. Hello, Tatum. We have a guest. Is he not just so cute? Okay. He's got eye booger, excuse him. And then I read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I gave it 3.75. It's not for me. Honestly, I'm so glad I read Once Upon a Broken Heart first, because I probably would have not picked it up after reading this one. Our main character here, Scarlett. So her and her sister Donatella, they go off to this island where Caraval is held. And it's this whole like mindfuck game basically. And when I tell you she got mindfucked, but she didn't ever just stop and be a little logical. I feel like her main focus was to find Donatella, which I mean kind of valid. Like you hear your sister getting kidnapped basically. And she's not stopping to understand this is part of the game. Like, after that, there's spoilers right here. I'm sorry. I should have said that a minute ago. After that, like, all the players come in her room and they're searching for clues. And all she's worried about is finding her. And yes, yes, you have to find her. But that's also part of the game, is to find her. Because, like, everybody's trying to take all of her stuff for clues. But you're not, like, I don't even know how to explain it. She just didn't stop and think ever, and she kept getting proved wrong about things, and she just made me so mad. She made me so freaking mad the entire time, and like I wanted to enjoy this book. It sounded like it was gonna be so good. Like I feel like if I keep reading it, maybe I'll like it more. Maybe she'll be less of a nuisance to my soul. But for right now, I just don't care to. And it really wasn't a fall book. This is 100% a winter book. I said this in my vlog. That felt more wintry. Like, not even just because of the cover, which is very pretty, I must say. The whole vibe of it. And then they get to the island. There's snow everywhere. And the snow does leave. But it's still wintry. I didn't really like it. I liked it more than Zodiac Academy, I could tell you that. Okay, and then we listened to one of my favorite books from this fall season. Definitely not my number one. We'll get to my number one. But I listened to Broken Country, and it was so good. Look, you know how I just said with normal people that something about audiobook and the person is like speaking like in a different accent and it's set somewhere else? Ate it up. I love it so much. We're in the British countryside, and there's like, it's kind of a mystery, kind of a romance. There's a love triangle. Oh my God, the ending had me shook. There is child death, so bear that in mind when you go into it. Some of the things in there was so descriptive. Like I want to tell you, I don't want to give anything away because I want people to read this book because it was so good and it's perfect for fall. But there's a scene that is so descriptive. It made me sick to my stomach. Like I'm literally sitting here doing chores, listening to this, picturing it. And I see it happening in my mind like a freaking movie, and I wanted to puke. Also, who you think you're going to root for in this love triangle? You root for the other one, because I made that mistake. And by the end, I was like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You're always right. When it comes to a love triangle, I am always freaking right. No, that's a lie, because I was Team Grayson in the inheritance games, and she chose Jameson, so... And then I read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I gave this one 3.75 too. Like I said, I am not a second chance romance girl. And I know that, so I didn't go into this with like high expectations because I knew I probably wouldn't like it. But I did like it. I liked it a lot. Like, look at all these tabs. Look, it's just, I think it's just the writing of Christina Lauren that gets me. Like, it's very beautiful. But something about Elliot, just like at first I loved him to death, and then the farther it went on, the less I liked him. This is about our main characters, Macy and Elliot. They meet at a cabin that her dad buys when she's like 13, 12, and they are best friends, but they're only best friends, well, they're best friends in like every sense of the word, but they only see each other when they're at the cabin. He lives there. He lives next door year round. She's just there like during the summer, holidays. And then I think as time goes on, they start driving up every weekend, her and her dad. So she develops this relationship with Elliot. So they're teenagers, right? This time jumps from like today to back when. And back when they're teenagers, like they don't know, you don't know anything about actual love. You don't know anything about relationships. As she's sitting here trying to tell him without telling him, because she doesn't know how to tell him, like, I want to be with you. He's like, I want to be with you too, but we're not together, so I'm gonna go out and do my thing. Meanwhile, I get a little bit jealous when you're doing your thing, even though she's not doing anything. This was also in that last vlog, by the way, so if you want to see more current thoughts, because right now I'm just trying to pull everything from memory, and I can't, like, I literally can't remember anything about the books I read. There was one part, because her mom dies, this is not a spoiler, and that's why they bought the cabin, and she left behind this list for her dad to help out, like, through life. And I don't know, that was just so sweet. Like, obviously you can't do that because you never know when you're gonna die, but her mom had cancer, so they had like an idea, so she left this list anyway. And I really, really like that. Like, it's kind of effed up. It's kind of effed up to think about, but that's her way of helping them from the grave, like still being with them. Imagine your wife or husband dies, right? And y'all have a kid, and the kid is the same gender as you. Well, the other one, like, say you have a husband, he's not really gonna know what to do for a daughter, especially a teenage daughter. But like, if you just leave behind like little clues and such, like, do this, I don't know. Oh my god, it's making me so sad right now. This is taking a terrible turn. It's taking such a bad turn, but like, I want to discuss this. I read The Wolf King, and oh my goodness me, it was so good. Once again, back with the super annoying, super slow female characters. Aurora, oh my god, she irked my nerves. But can we talk about Callum? Can we talk about Callum? He was wearing a kilt, and I loved it, okay? I that's not attractive to me, to be honest. Like, maybe Jaime Lannister. No, what? Ew, no, not Jaime Lannister. What's his name from Outlander? Jaime. I can't think of his last name, but that Jaime, not Jaime Lannister. Please do not put that in your mind that I think Jaime Lannister is attractive. With your sister is discussing all attractiveness out the window. And he doesn't have a hand. Back to what I was saying. I'm so sorry. I disgusted myself just now. A kilt. Callum wears a kilt. And he's so sweet. And look, I am not a werewolf person. I don't really like werewolf books. I wish I did, because they do seem so good. And this one was so freaking good. The collar was for Aurora's safety. But look, it wasn't an actual like collar, like BDSM kind of collar. It was like just like a little velvet rope with a little thing. And I would wear it if Topher went and got me a collar. If Topher went and got me a collar like that, maybe I'd wear it. You know, it would be cute. You have no respect. So this one also has a love triangle. We have Callum, and we have, oh, what is his name? I can't remember his name, but I picture him as Jon Snow. But so Aurora, she is like betrothed to this really evil lord, I guess. He's not the king, because her dad's the king. She's the princess. He's like a lord. She like stops this werewolf fight because he is brutal. He's a brutal man. He puts these werewolves in a pit, and he's like, so she stops it, and then Callum's like, okay, you're coming with me. So she goes, and like in her chest, she's like, I don't want to, but I want to. Like in every few chapters, she's like, I feel the wind, the mountains, the air calling to me. Like, obviously that's where you belong, girl, if you're feeling it that deeply. So she's basically Callum's bargaining chip to like get this heart that they're after, some kind of werewolf heart. I gave this one 4 stars. The second book is out. I think the third book comes out maybe next year. The second book, The Night Prince, I have on my Kindle already. I just haven't touched it. And then I read Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. Don't listen to it. I listened to it via audio, and I regret it. I think it was just the narrator for me that really kind of made me not like it. Again, with these female characters that just act like airheads. They get proven something time and time again, and they just keep doing it. Or they keep being like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, just literally stop for a minute and think about what you're doing. They don't do that, and it irks my nerves. But this one was kind of confusing, honestly, but something about it felt very familiar. I don't know what it is, and this might be also why I didn't really like it much. Something felt really familiar about it. Like, I've read it before. I gave it 3 stars, but I do want to reread it. I want to one day buy it and then, or maybe go to the library. I'm pretty sure it's at the library. I'm pretty sure I saw it like a couple weeks ago when I went in there. Maybe check it out and reread it and see if I like it more, because there are a lot of times where you read a book and you might hate it, but then you read it like on a different format. And I don't know how that like works, because that even works with like ebooks. Like, read it physical and then you go get it on Kindle and it hits different. I don't know. I don't understand the logic of that, but it works. So I think I'm going to try rereading this one. So don't put it as me saying I hated this book. I just felt pretty mild about it, but I am going to give it another try. And for my favorite book of this fall season that I wanted to get to last year, but so after fall last year is when I started seeing this book going around. And I was like, okay, I'm going to save it for fall. Well, then I kept watching throughout the year more fall book videos and seeing everybody's fall TBR for this year. And I was like, I'm going to get to it finally. Slewfoot by Brom. The best book I read this season. Oh my God. I can talk about this one to y'all. I can talk about this one because this one, I gave it 4.75 stars. The only reason it was not 5 stars, it just didn't have that 5-star feeling. It was so close, but there's just something missing in it. And I think what it was like, so we're following Abigail. That's our main character. We're following her, but we're also on the side following Samson / the devil. And his storyline bored me just a little bit. Like, I enjoyed it and I was very interested to see how he came to be, his whole thing, and what he had going on. But like, I was more interested in Abigail's side, and I think that's the only thing that kind of just threw me off, was like, I just didn't care as much. This book proved that I would have not survived in the 60s. I would have not survived when religion was so huge. It just reminded me of The Crucible with Winona Ryder. It's such a good movie. I wouldn't have lasted. There would have been girls out there screaming I was a witch, literally just for existing. I would have been hanged. I'm not religious, so like, especially if I would have lived back then, they would have killed me instantly. Abatha, she gets shipped off by her dad, basically sold to America from England as a wife for Edward. Bless his soul, Edward. The best man she could have gotten in this situation. He was so freaking sweet. Let me just say, that is literally in the description that Edward dies, right? So you're waiting this whole time for him to die. But when it happens, I almost started crying, because like, you get to know Edward a little bit and then he's just ripped away. No warning. He's just gone. And it's such a brutal way. And I felt so bad. Like, I knew it was coming, but it hurt. And I think what hurt the most was just not knowing when. Like, I want to spoil it so bad because I need to talk about Edward. Abatha ends up befriending Samson. They're like this. They're besties pretty much, which good for them because they both needed somebody. And because, she's hanging out with this walking, talking goat man, these heavy religious people are like, no. Like, that is straight up the devil. But to Abatha, he's really, really sweet. He doesn't actually know he's the devil. Like, this whole story is him discovering that. Like, trying to remember his life before and all that. The female rage, if you hear about this book, you're going to hear about female rage. And it is. And she should have done so much worse. Abatha, she should have done so much worse than she did to those people. I honestly believe the bug scene could have been worse. It could have been worse than it should have been. They deserved it. They deserved terrible things to happen to them. I am Team Abatha for life. I wish that fictional woman nothing but the best. And the epilogue, look, the epilogue was so, like, it was so simple. It was just a simple, like, where are they now kind of thing. But without ruining it, this woman ended up living my dream life when I was a kid. When I read that, I was like, oh my God. By the end, I was like, this is definitely an amazing book. When I was a little girl, that would have been me. That was what I wanted. I wanted to run away and live the way she was living. I would love to read Krampus by Brom as well, but I honestly don't think it's going to live up to Slewfoot. I really don't. So Brom includes pictures in his books. Like, I think he illustrates them, and they're not at least in the Kindle version. They weren't throughout the book. They were all at the end. Oh my gosh, they were good. They were good pictures. They looked great. Abatha looked beautiful. I love Abatha so much. But when we get to the little folk, they're so creepy. One was literally a jump scare. Because when I was picturing them, I was picturing like, I feel like I was picturing something creepier, but like apparently it wasn't as creepy as what he was picturing, because those pictures were terrifying. There's my number one of this entire thing. Even though I gave The Naturals 5 stars, this beat it out. And then I read The Stillwater Girls. I gave it 1 star. It was so boring. I was so bored. It sounded so interesting at first, and kind of was, but it felt so flat for me. Me and thrillers, we don't typically mix. Like, I'm very hard on thrillers, and I think it's because I grew up watching Lifetime movies like all the time, every weekend. A lot of the ones I read now, like I kind of expect it, and even if I don't expect it, even if it surprises me, I'm just like, okay, that was mid. It was something to read. So I wasn't a huge fan of it, but the twist at the end, that did get me. And the main woman, Nicolette, I picture her as Rachel Green, not Jennifer Aniston, Rachel Green. Or I guess Jennifer Aniston just in that era, not currently. And lastly, I read a dark romance, which is not my forte. Every now and then I get itch. I'm like, I want something a little crazy. I want a little bit of a psycho, to read about. This was not it. I read Silhouette, and it is actually number 4 in a series, the Deal with the Devil series. I did not know that until I started reading it. And like, the beginning of the book where it's like all the trigger warnings and such, it was saying it was number 4 or where it was at in the series. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's just a short story. And the author put a note. She was like, you don't have to read these other books to read this one. And I was like, okay, but I'll go for it. And it wasn't confusing of like, it gave mentions of the other books, but like nothing too intense that I felt like I was lost. If I ever have to read about a man breaking into somebody's shower and ejaculating into their shampoo and conditioner so they can be wearing him at all times, I am going to stab my eyeballs out. Who in their right mind does that? Who thinks that's attractive at all? Like, oh my god, in her hair, what the actual fuck? I swear to god, if I ever caught Topher doing that to my shampoo and conditioner, I would punch him in the throat. You know that the movie, I think it's Identity, whatever, with Melissa McCarthy and Jason Bateman, and she throat punches him? That would be me, right? Like, I would literally hurt him so bad if I ever found out he did that to me. Like, I can handle a stalker romance. I can handle him putting, not Topher, but these characters. I can handle like the cameras in the house, having a tracker on them. Word. I mean, it's insane, but word. For fiction, cool. But to ejaculate in her shampoo, ew, it's so gross. I can't stand the thought of it. When I read that, my hair felt dirty. I wanted to go wash my hair. I need somebody who's read these books or reads books like these tell me if this is like a common thing in dark romances, because I've never read that before. Am I going to go into more dark romances next time I get an itch for one and have that happen? Like, he murders her husband. That's okay too. Send me a faint, or not me, but send like body parts of him. That's totally fine if he's abusive and like she's trying to escape him. There's just some things that are like, how are you okay even writing this out? Reading this back to yourself and be like, oh, that's the stuff. What? It makes me so scared of what people do in their own homes. So now that I'm like done with my disgusting rant, that is all of the books I've read in these past few months. I am so ready to get into my winter and Christmas reads. I absolutely love Christmas reads, especially just like for the month of December. I'm currently rereading Quicksilver, as I said before, which is so a winter read, especially because like in the other realm thing, it's like it's winter. I do kind of want to make a winter TBR video, but I don't even know what all I want to read. Like, I have a few ideas, but nothing's set in stone. Like, I don't even have a 10 book list yet. I'm really just worried about Brimstone, because I've been waiting so long for it. I read Quicksilver last summer right before I gave birth. I was heavy. I was a big 8-month pregnant lady, so I was stuck in bed and I just had my Kindle, and it's a 600 some page book. and I'm just like zooming through it. I had it done in a few days. By the time it was done, I needed Brimstone. I don't even think that the name was revealed yet. I don't think Callie Hart had like announced certain things about it yet. And now it comes out Tuesday, and I am so excited. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching me ramble and not make any sense about these books, and probably not convince you to read them because I don't know how to review things properly or use my words. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys later. Bye.